This conference will now be recorded.
Any luck on getting your demo instances ready by this time? Okay. So spend some time today. Just try to get the demo instances ready, okay? My son, did you join yesterday?
No, I did not.
Hey, hi, it's Saloni. I'm the trainer. So can I understand your technical background?
Yes, I'm currently working in Servicenow right now, currently.
So as an admin you're working on, or what is your profile right now?
They have me as a developer, but I do a lot of different things and just trying to get more clear understanding.
So you already know the basic stuff of the scripting, or you are new to the tool?
I know the basics, but as far as scripting, no, I'm still need to work on that. But as far as like the basics, like navigating through and stuff like that, and fields, I know how to do that. So.
Okay. So you, what is your technical background? As in, are you from the scripting background?
No, it's more of an admin background, configuration, forms, fields, columns, stuff like that. I don't really have a coding background, but I want to get more experience with that as well. I also want to figure out how to learn how to do more things in ServiceNow without using code, because I know they have that option with more UI actions and UI policies and other ways to do the exact same action without using code, just so I can, know exactly what all the options ServiceNow offers. So.
Okay. So, and do you understand the basic scripting stuffs? Like, do you understand what is if loop with variables and all those? That basic idea, do you have?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Then I can see one more student. Okay, so I think Sushrita, you were there, correct, yesterday? I think you and
Yes.
Naman, you were there. Okay, fine. Okay. So, for you to know, my son, yesterday I was giving an overview of the tool where I explained these guys what is ServiceNow, why are we using the tool, and what benefit is ServiceNow giving us in comparison to any other ticketing tool in the market. So I just wanted to do a comparison work over there, just a comparison check over there. So that's what I had covered yesterday. Today I'll be resuming, today I'll be continuing on the same process in here, okay?
Okay.
So let me continue till there. So guys, I think myself, you might be having the idea. What is ITIL? Have you heard the term?
Information technology infrastructure library helps companies with organizing their business as far as the strategy, the design, the transition, deployment of their changes, and how they need to set up their business following the framework of ITIL.
So can I say ITIL is nothing but ITIL is giving you the best practices, as in through the ITIL you are getting nothing, but through the ITIL we are getting the best practices inside the corporation, organization, stuff like that. Can I say so? Correct? So now over here I'm just listing it down. What are the benefits of ITIL? Why ITIL? Why, as in what benefits are we getting if our tool is based on the ITIL? So yesterday I was talking about these benefits, that is, it is giving us increased customer satisfaction, it is giving more service availability, financial saving is there, so on and so forth. Okay. So now proceeding further, I wanted to talk about features of ServiceNow. Okay. One thing over here, guys, many a times you will see people using the term Snow instead of Servicenow. So they're referring to the same thing. They're referring to the same stuff over there. It is just that is a shortcut, I would say, that also. So let's try to come to the benefit. Let's try to understand that in detail. So the first feature which Servicenow is giving is it is very simple and consistent to use. Why do they say so? Because if you know the ITSM concept, ITIL concept says what? ITIL concept says about some of the basic application like an incident, like a change, a service catalog. So if you know what you're looking for, you just need to type it in the left hand side. Just an example over here. Let's say I look for incident. Once I type in the keyword, related stuff is getting returned to me. So searching the content over here, looking for the same is quite an easy process when I come to the Servicenow in here. Again, what is incident and all, we'll be covering it, guys. After some time, I'll be walking you through to all these life cycle of these applications and all. So let's skip it for now. Let's understand it this way, that by using the concept of Servicenow, by using the ITIL concept, if you know the ITIL concept, if you need to look for an application, you just need to type in the stuff and related items are getting returned to you. So the searching is quite easy and the tool is simple and consistent to use. Flexible, how much flexible the tool is, and this fourth benefit of the tool, fourth feature of the tool, that is easy to integrate. These goes hand in hand. So these one will give you more clarity when I'll be in the class of covering integration topic for you. So this one I'll be making you understand at a later stage when I'll be into the integration class. So this one I'm skipping it for the time. Okay. Next is speed time to production. So as I told you yesterday, that if a tool is ITIL based, ITIL is giving us all the understanding of how to make our tool better, how to understand the scope of the tool. So obviously, if a tool is based on ITIL concept, what benefit will I get? If a tool is based on the ITIL concept, your speed time to production will be there, cost saving will be there. So that's what it is all about. That is in this particular case, what will happen? That is in this particular case too, your speed time to production will be there because Servicenow is ITIL based. Okay. So now let's try to proceed further. Let's try to see the next configuration in here. This is the architecture of the tool. How is the baseline of the tool structured? That is what we need to understand in here. So how is the architecture of the tool designed? You can see on the top layer is user interface, means any end user, any customer, when they are accessing the tool, how are they doing that? Any customer is accessing the tool by making use of this concept called user interface in here. Okay, what will do? So an end user is only having access to this layer. He'll not have access to any other layer in the system. So why am I putting these two layers on the same level? My only agenda, which I'm trying to do over here, guys, by putting these two, is just to let you understand these two, SOAP and other protocol, are used for integration. Anyone, any idea what do we mean by the term integration? Any idea on that, guys? Guys, what is integration? Whatever you know. Anyone? No? The purpose of integration is to let your system communicate with any other external system. Let's, for example, let's say if I want to push or pull the data from ServiceNow perspective at any given point in time, let's say maybe for example, suppose in an external tool, maybe an Outlook, there is some info stored, and from Outlook I need to pull it up and set it inside the ServiceNow. So if your ServiceNow wants to talk to any other external application of the organization, how it will done? It will be done through integration. So these two I'm listing it down just to let you understand that whenever the third party, these two will be done by the third party, the people who are not member of ServiceNow but an external tool. So the external tool will be accessing the data through, how we'll be accessing the data through any of these integration protocols. And again, obviously the external team, again, they will also not have access to any below layers. So I'm just trying to put these on the same level for you to understand, be it the third party or be it the concerned end users, they will not have access to any of the below layers. So who will have access in the scripting layer? Scripting layer, we as a developer of ServiceNow, we will be having access to. So what ServiceNow has done it, guys, ServiceNow has created its own scripting language. For it to decrease the dependency on any specific scripting language, ServiceNow has designed its own scripting language. So what are we targeting to understand or relate in here is, we are targeting to understand or relate in here is, at any given point in time, whenever I'm going to the system perspective, whenever I'm trying to build it up, what you will understand is that in the scripting layer, what ServiceNow is building it up, what that scripting is, that has its own scripting standards. Yeah, at times you will see the relationship with your JavaScript and all, but exactly I would not say that you are using JavaScript, but yeah, baseline of it will be similar. So even if you don't know JavaScript, you can still live with it, because as said, ServiceNow has not is not having a dependency on any scripting language each and every line perspective. So it will be still a manageable thing. Now, another thing which we need to understand or relate in here is, what does a database understand, like guys? Which language will a database understand? Anyone?
You asking what is a database?
No, I'm asking what language does a database understand?
What language does it understand?
Yep.
Like scripting language?
Yep.
Like server side scripting?
I'm just asking a server, as in, let's say a DB I have to set a connection with, which language will we write? So we'll write SQL over there, correct?
We write what?
We write SQL command over there, do you know?
Could you
Whenever we are, sorry,
say it again?
SQL.
Oh, SQL. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Okay. So whenever we have to connect our database, obviously we need to write SQL because that's what our database is understanding. But I'm saying in the ServiceNow scripting layer, ServiceNow has developed its own scripting. So means, let's say I'm writing a script to fetch or send the data to the database. Our script has to be converted to SQL for the database to understand that. So this conversion of ServiceNow scripting for the DB to understand happens in the DB layer. So in the DB layer, we are doing nothing but we are writing your SQL commands where the conversion of scripting of ServiceNow is getting converted to a SQL, going to the database. Finally, the database is again returning the data back to the system, back to the DB layer in SQL command, when again it gets converted to be returned back in the ServiceNow scripting format. Making sense here? Are you making sense till here, guys? Everyone, yes, no. Give it a try.
I have like one question. Why we need a DB layer?
Okay. Where is the database? Database means that is storing the data. Do you agree? Database means server.
Yes.
In the scripting layer, you are writing server script. Database only understands SQL command. Database never understands ServiceNow scripting. Server can only understand SQL command. Means for sure, for database to understand what query have you written, you need to get it converted. You're getting my point?
Okay. So which SQL we are using for this? Like it's Java or
SQL is a
the
scripting
script?
language.
Yeah, the scripting language.
SQL itself is a scripting language.
No, the scripting language. It's JavaScript or like what?
SQL itself is a scripting language. Java is a
Oh,
scripting
okay.
language. C++ is a scripting language. SQL is also a scripting language.
Okay.
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 Others, all good. No queries from your end. Are we good till here?
Yes, Saloni. Good so far.
Okay, perfect. Next thing. Next thing is what are the key applications of the tool? Why am I trying to cover these applications for you over here is I'll be showing you the life cycle of all these applications just for you guys to get used to the tool. Just for you guys to understand, okay, what are the key applications and what they are used for. So I would not say that these are the only application which ServiceNow is delivering to the customers. There are obviously plenty of others, but these are some of the major application which you as an end user will be using from ServiceNow. Okay, so let's try to see the configuration in here. Let's try to see how the designing works in here. So the first thing first over here in this case is an incident. Anyone any idea when do we create incident in the organization perspective?
What was the
When
question again?
My question is when do we raise an incident?
When do we use an incident? Is that when it's a a break fix issue?
So can I say that if something is not working as desired, if something is broken, in that case we raise an incident. For example, let's say I do have a laptop with me or the corporate laptop, and today I'm not able to use a laptop maybe because whatever the reason maybe, let's say it's not booting up. So
So
if it
do
is
you
not
use
booting up,
incidents for break fix then?
sorry, can you repeat?
So does that mean that you use incidents when it's a break fix issue or not?
Yeah, you can say so. Whatever work, whatever application you're holding from the organizational endpoint, if anything is not working as desired, then you raise an incident. So from the corporate endpoint, you do that. For example, let's say if I have a laptop, it is not booting in. Let's say I have a printer and I had access at some point in time, but today when I'm trying to print a document, I'm not able to do so. So any issue which is occurring over there, I'll be making use of what? I'll be making use of the concept called incident. Okay. What we need to understand in this case is that the first thing first, which I need to talk about or make you understand in this given case is that is the definition of it. So it says in here, it means something has stopped working and it needs to be fixed immediately. Okay. So let's try to proceed further. Let's try to see the next designing in here. So I'm just going to create an incident for you to understand it better. Now, how will we create an incident? I'm going to my tool. Yesterday I've shown it to you guys how to get a demo URL like this. So I'm typing in incident. That's the keyword I'm looking for. Once I do so, keep on scrolling down. I'm starting with this one called create new. So I'm going to create a new incident into the system in here. Once I try to do so, a screen is popping up for me where some of the fields are populated, some of the fields are yet to be done by me. So let's try to understand each and every field and their usage over here. I'll start with the number. You can see when I clicked on the new, a new record got created for me where a new numbering sequence is already sitting over there. What can be the benefit of that? Anyone, any idea?
The benefit of the number field.
Mm-hmm.
The number field keeps your incidents organized, so you have an incident number to reference. You have to look at the incidents.
So the benefit of this is, yes, you are correct on that. That is the benefit of this one is that we are showing the number field in there because if we do so, the benefit which we'll be getting in there is that while applying that, if a uniqueness is there, and what ServiceNow has done is, as we can see, it got auto-populated. ServiceNow has maintained the uniqueness on that given field. Means we will never have two records with the same incident number into the system. Okay, so when the uniqueness is there, what benefit are we getting out of it? When the uniqueness is there, the benefit which we are getting is that because there will be never be two record with the same number, so now it becomes easy for the people to interact with reference to the given record number. So if I come to you and I give you the incident number, you exactly know, okay, which record am I referring to? Correct? So now let's proceed further. Let's try to say the next designing in here, the next configuration in here. So what do we need to understand in here is the caller. Now caller means what? Caller means this field technicality over here means the person, the impacted person who is actually facing the issue in here. So the person who is actually facing the issue, this is the person name which you're going to select in here. If you can see in here, let's say suppose if I write maybe Srinivas over here. Take my mouse anywhere outside, it says invalid reference, means it shows the field in red color, means there is some issue in that given field in here. What do we now need to understand in here is that why is it giving us the red color? Because within Servicenow, guys, you will see n number of fields having this magnifying glass. What does that mean over here in this case? If a field is having a magnifying glass within Servicenow, such type of field, the technical term for such type of fields are called what? They are called reference. Does that make sense? Okay, so what is the behavior of that field? Now that's what I want to make you understand in here. So any field, if it is a reference, means what it is doing. Any field, if it is a reference, means it is pulling the data from some other table. Okay, what can be the purpose of that? When said so means if I remove the data in here, if I make it empty back, when you'll click on the magnifying glass, you will see it is giving you the option to select the data from another table in here. Can you see so? Are you making sense to here, guys?
Yes, Saloni.
Okay. So at any given point in time, whoever is the user, I'll just click on that person name. Let's say if Chetan is the user, I'll just click on it. Okay. Now let's proceed further. The next thing over here in this particular one.
Saloni, one question.
Mhm.
If this user is not listed in this drop down box, then how we should be adding that one?
I'll talk about right now. What I'm doing is right now I'm just clicking on the magnifying glass. It is pulling nothing, but what it is doing is you can see it says users, means right now this field is giving you the option to select the data present in this given table. You only have the option to do that. You'll only be able to select a user which is existing in the user table of the system. So a person whose profile is there in the tool right now, only that particular person can be a caller. I can't select beyond this. It is not feasible. How to create one? There is a new button in here. I also talk about it at a later stage, how to create the user and what fields does it require for. So right now, whenever it is a caller, I'm selecting one of the user from the user table. Does that make sense to everyone? Any other query till here? I'll take it as a no then. So I'm selecting a user. I just clicked on it. Now, one thing over here. So that was how selecting the data. Now another thing which you'll have to get an idea in here is what is the purpose of the caller? Who is the caller? So in the caller, we are doing nothing, but in the caller, we need to select whosoever is the actual impacted person. So in the caller, we are saying for which person is this incident getting created? Who is that person facing the issue? He or she will be the caller in the ticket. Okay. Location, again, it is a reference because we can see magnifying a glass in there. So in the location, we are saying in what location is caller available right now, in which, like obviously, let's say if a person needs, let's say maybe a printer access. So if it is related to the printer access, if the printer is not working as desired, in such particular case, for sure it will be better if the ticket gets assigned to a technician in that specific region only, in that specific location only where the issue is there. So for that particular reason, we are saying to the caller, whosoever is facing the issue, that you also provide the location where you are sitting right now, so that we'll prefer to assign a technician in the same region. For that particular reason, what we are making use of, we are making use of this configuration called the location in there. So let's see how will we selecting the location in here, how does that work? So again, I'll click on the magnifying glass. This one pulls the data from where? Let's check it out. So it says location on the top, means this field is pulling the data from another table called location. Okay. So let's say if I want to select one, I can expand the region. Let's say I expand the back over here. Suppose in that India, I'm just selecting one of the location. It says like this one. So what has been done in that location table is the hierarchy has been maintained between the country and the regions and all. We'll understand that hierarchy later. But for the time being, we can understand reference magnifying glass means you're pulling data from another table. How do? You click on the magnifying glass, you do the data selection in there. Okay. Next is category. Now, you as an end user, guys, obviously it is not required that you will be knowing which team has to work on the ticket. You may know which team has to work on, you may not know that. So in the category, you as end user, you have to provide the exact correct category value, that which type of issue are you facing. Is it related to software, hardware, whatever the case may be, you have to be specific with that. Because based on the category selected by you over here on the issue level, later on the group to which this issue will go, will be assigned to, will be decided. So that's why you have to give the correct value in there. Okay. So let's say suppose it is hardware related issue which I'm having. Again, in the hardware, classifications are there. If I select hardware related options are there in the subcategory. If I select software, obviously the software related choices are in here. So let's say I'm facing hardware related, so I'll go in here and select hardware for me. In the hardware, let's say maybe my keyboard is not working, so I'll select that. So these two is a must thing. These two you are doing only because you want later on your ticket is going to be assigned based on these two info in here. Configuration item, I'll cover it later for you. I'm skipping it that for the purpose. Next over here is priority. Anyone any idea what do we mean by priority of the ticket?
That's the priority of the list. The incident is going to be low, medium, or high. And if it's high, it's a high important incident.
So, okay. Yeah, you are correct on that. So anyone, any other definition? I'll just reiterate that for you. So that's why I'm saying anyone, any other idea which you have about that? Any, other than myself, anyone else have the idea what is the use of the priority? If a ticket is assigned to you guys, let's say suppose for example, if I am the technician, suppose 10 tickets are assigned to me. Okay, I have to work on those. I have to provide the fix of that. Which one will I prioritize will be based on what? It will be based on the priority of the ticket. That is, if I have, let's say, priority P1 ticket with me and a P2 ticket with me, always my priority will be a P1 ticket. P1 means critical, then the P2, then the P3, then the P4s. Right now it is 4. 4 means very low. So if in my bucket I have a P1 and a P2, I'll always first put emphasis on P1, try to fix the P1, and then I'll go for the P2. Make sense? How is priority getting calculated? If you can see, it is grayed out over here. So what we are doing is we are never giving the option of priority selection to the end users directly. An end user will never be able to change the priority value directly. Because what we feel there is that if we do so, an end user can end up selecting or specifying each and every incident as priority P1, because for end user, let's say if my laptop is not working, from my perspective, obviously it is a P1. But priority doesn't mean from your individual perspective, it is from the business endpoint. So that's why at any given endpoint, what shall we do? That's why at any given system endpoint, we are never letting end user to select the priority. So how will the selection happen? The selection will happen based on nothing but the impact and the urgency combination. Let's check it out. Let's understand it. So if I'll go over here in this particular case, you will see when I'll alter the impact, you can see priority is changing. It got changed to 3. Again, if I change urgency, even then it is getting altered. So what do we need to understand in here is that we do need to understand, okay, what is the relationship then in here? The relationship over here in this particular case is that priority value is always equal to the numeric part of impact plus urgency minus 1. So right now impact plus urgency give me 2. So I told you impact plus urgency, at the end you have to do minus 1. So 2 minus 1 is 1. So that's why you can see priority has become 1 in here. So it is ITIL concept. It is even as in your interview, that is what is the formula for calculating priority. It is impact plus urgency minus 1, that gives your priority value to it. Good so far? In the short description and description, you are giving the brief overview of what issue are you exactly facing. So suppose I come in here, I can say, let's say, my keyboard is not working properly. Whatever the issue may be, you're just trying to specify in the description. You can give the overall description, whatever it may be, justification of the issue. Okay. Next thing is what on this particular one up is the opened and the opened. If you can see, these two fields got auto populated. So opened is nothing but the moment you click on create new, that timestamp came in open, and opened by is nothing but the moment you clicked on create new, whosoever tried to create the record, his or her name is coming in the opened by. In the contact type, the end user, whosoever is creating the ticket, he or she is giving the preference. How does he want the technician to contact him? He's giving his preference over there by the contact type mode. Knowledge I'll cover later as a knowledge application. State has to be new because we are creating a new ticket. What can be the assignment group, guys, and assigned to? What can be the purpose of these two fields? Can any one of you help me in understanding this? Any idea, anyone?
I think whichever group that task has to be assigned to.
Perfect. The team who will be taking the responsibility of working on the ticket, that will be the assignment group. And a member in that group who will actually be working on the ticket will be assigned. Correct. So now in this particular case, if I'm end user, is it required for me to know which assignment group it should go to? No. It can be the case that I know, but it can also be the case that I don't know that info. Correct. So when I come over here in this particular one up, what do we need to do? When I come over here in this particular one up, we need to understand that your assignment group and assigned to are the fields which, if an end user who is reporting the issue, if they don't know the info, they can still keep it empty and do the submission of the record. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm trying to create an incident. Let's say I don't know which team has to work on. I don't know the team structure. So I'll just copy this incident number and I'm going to submit it up. Submit means inserting the data, creating the record into the database. Let's reopen the incident now. When you have created the incident, what happens is a support team comes into picture now. What is the work of the support team? So if you have not populated the assignment group, the support team will come into picture and they will check it out. What category and subcategory have you specified in your incident? And based on the category and subcategory selected by you, the support team will pick up the assignment group. So they will already be having an information that, okay, this category, this subcategory should be assigned to this team. So now let's say if I'm member of the support team, I'll come into this particular one up. Again, assignment group is which type of field? Reference. How do we know? We have magnifying glass in here. So we'll click on this. Let's say I wanted to assign, so you can see it is pulling the data from which table right now? It is pulling the data from group table. It says group on the top. So let's say if I assign it to maybe one of the team in here, maybe let's say software. So what did I do? I did select the group to which I want this particular issue to be worked on by. Make sense? Assign to. Now, if I'm support person, it may be the case that I don't know which team it should be assigned to. So in that case, what will I do in that particular case? Yes, I can keep it empty and I'll submit it up. I'll click on update this time. Why update? Because existing data we are working on. So I'll click on update. Let's open this incident again now. This incident will go to whom? So when a ticket assignment group is filled, email out of the box, that is how that email is, I will see that later. Email is sent to the group members. So they'll come to know that, okay, a ticket has been assigned in this particular case. Once they come to know that, what will they do? Once they come to know that, obviously now the people will go ahead into the instance perspective. One of the team member of that team will go ahead into the instance perspective and start working on the issue. Let's check it out. So I'll open this incident. So there can be two ways of fulfilling the assign to. One, the individual who is available in the team, he'll assign it to himself. Second, the manager of the team will assign the ticket to one of his employees, one of his team members. Whatever the case may be, again assigned to is a reference. If I click on the magnifying glass in here, this one is also pulling the data from the user table. How many record does it show? It shows you 9 users in here, but if I compare it here, here also it was pulling the data from the user table. It was showing you 805. Why that changed? Why in assigned to it is only showing 9 of the users? What can you think about? Guys, why is assigned to showing a limited set of users from the user table, but caller is showing you the option, giving you the option to select more users? Give it a try, yeah. It's okay to be wrong.
Maybe some of the users have already assigned tasks.
Isn't?
So someone from that list has already something assigned to them. That's why it's not showing up.
Anyone else? So the issue in here is that assigned to, in the assigned to, you should only be able to select people who are member of the group, correct?
Yep.
In this particular case, within the group, obviously not everyone. In the caller, when I was pulling it, was showing you all the users in the organization. In assigned to, it quite makes sense that only the member of this group I should be able to select. So that's why it is not showing you all the users, rather it is only showing you people who are member of that group. That's why it is showing you a limited number in here. Make sense?
Yep, got it.
Perfect. Others? Guys, we have to make a class little interactive. I really don't understand whether you are getting it, you're having issue. Please help me out. It's okay, yaar. You are new to the tool, I do understand, but is it making sense right now? Why is it assigned to showing only a limited user, guys? Everyone on the same page? Yes, no?
Yes, Saloni, it's clear to me.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So let's say I give the responsibility maybe to this user that she has to drive the entire incident till the solution fix of it, and I'll update it. Whenever an incident is created, now what you'll see is that the moment we populated the assigned to, the state automatically got changed from initially it was new, it got changed from new to active. So there's a script written in the backend which says the moment assigned to field is no longer empty, it is populated with some username, you change the state of the ticket to active. What does that symbolize? It symbolizes over here in this case that if a ticket is in active state means what? Means someone is working on the ticket. Correct. So the moment assigned to is populate means what do we understand means on the organizational scale we have given the responsibility to someone to work on the issue. Correct. So if we have given the responsibility to someone to work on the issue, now the ticket state should change to active to let the people know that the ticket is active now that is someone is looking into your issue to give you the solutioning in. I hope we are good till here. I can see Ananya. Are you there? Ananya? So are we good till here, guys? Anyone, any query, any issues till here?
I just have one quick question. So you said like whenever like you assign something, like there's an email notification, right? It's all like you'll be letting us know in the later classes, or like how is that
Yeah.
integration happening?
So how is that email going in? It is a topic of one of our development when I'll be showing it to you. How is it configured and how is it triggered and all those stuff. So I didn't wanted to show you this time because this time I just wanted to keep it very much basic for you to understand what are the answers. So yeah, it is part of the development topic. You can see it in the docs too.
Okay, thanks.
Anyone, any other query, guys?
You said, are you asking if we have any more questions
Yeah.
about this?
About what we have covered till now, or maybe any clarification which you want at this particular point in time.
I do have a question, but
Mm-hmm.
I'll wait till the end.
It's okay. You can go ahead.
Well, it's not related to this, so I'll just wait. It's fine.
Okay. Okay. So if we are good till here, guys, I'll wrap up the class over here. Based on your feedback, we'll start the classes from tomorrow. So tomorrow will be a regular class based on your feedback, your confirmation. So please coordinate with Srinivas. Let's see how it goes. Thanks, everyone. Have a nice day.
Okay, thanks, Saloni. Bye.